Senate will come to order. I ask all present to please rise. Today, the colors will be presented by the Colonel Francis J. Gabreski Cadet Squadron of the Civil Air Patrol from Long Island. The colors will now be presented and posted. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, our thanks to the Colonel Francis J. Gabreski Cadet Squadron of the Civil Air Patrol from Long Island.
Legislative resolution by Senators Seward, Flanagan, Lavelle, Johnson, and Zeldin, commending the Colonel Francis S. Gabreski Cadet Squadron from the Long Island Group of the Civil Air Patrol Color Guard upon the occasion of presenting the colors at the start of the session of the New York State Senate, January 9, 2012. Whereas, it is the sense of this legislative body to recognize that the quality and character of the life in the communities across New York State are reflective of the concerned and dedicated efforts of those organizations and individuals who are devoted to the welfare of the community and its citizenry. And whereas, attendant to such concern and in full accord with its long-standing traditions, this legislative body is justly proud to commend the Colonel Francis S. Gabreski Cadet Squadron from the Long Island Group of the Civil Air Patrol Color Guard upon the occasion of presenting the colors at the start of the session of the New York State Senate to be held on Monday, January 9, 2012 at the New York State Capitol in Albany, New York. And whereas the Civil Air Patrol enjoys a proud legacy of selfless sacrifice and service to the country and community that spans decades. The organization was born 1 week prior to the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. And whereas thousands of volunteer members of the Civil Air Patrol answered America's call to national service and sacrifice by accepting and performing critical wartime missions. And whereas on July 1, 1946, President Harry S. Truman signed Public Law 476, incorporating the Civil Air Patrol as a benevolent nonprofit organization. On May 26, 1948, Congress passed Public Law 557, permanently establishing the Civil Air Patrol as the auxiliary of the new United States Air Force. And whereas 3 primary mission areas were set forth at the inception of the Civil Air Patrol: aerospace education, cadet programs, and emergency services. And whereas today the Civil Air Patrol handles 90% of inland search and rescue missions, with approximately 75 lives saved each year. Its members are generally the first on the scene, transmitting satellite digital images of the damage within seconds around the world and providing disaster relief and emergency services following natural and man-made disasters, including such phenomena as 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, Texas and Oklahoma wildfires, tornadoes in the south and central United States, North Dakota flash flooding, and the October 2006 earthquake in Hawaii, as well as its humanitarian missions along the United States and Mexican border. And whereas, in addition, Civil Air Patrol members are dedicated to counter-drug reconnaissance and to teaching a new generation about aerospace and its impact on our future, its cadet programs ensure our youth receive the finest leadership training the nation has to offer. And whereas the members of the Colonel Francis S. Gabreski Cadet Squadron from the Long Island Group of the Civil Air Patrol Guard include Dennis Wodowitz of Selden, Debbie Wodowitz of Selden, Teresa Nelson of Manorville, Lauren Lindgren of Farmingville, Aisha Aslamaz of Patchogue, Amber Durago of Bayshore, Paul Dowdy of Port Jefferson, Thor Hawry of Miller Place, Megan Hawry of Miller Place, Ed Nelson of Manorville, Peter Sakonzis of Port Jefferson Station, Alice Wodowitz of Selden, Leif Lindgren of Farmingville, and Julie Hawry of Miller Place. And whereas the Civil Air Patrol makes a huge impact each and every day, going above and beyond to make a profound difference in America's communities. And whereas the occasion presents a unique opportunity for this legislative body to recognize and pay tribute to the members of the Colonel Francis S. Gabreski Cadet Squadron from Long Island Group of the Civil Air Patrol Color Guard, and whereas it is the sense of this legislative body that when organizations of such noble aims and accomplishments are brought to our attention, they should be recognized by all citizens of this great Empire State. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this legislative body pause in its deliberations to commend the Colonel Francis S. Gabreski Cadet Squadron from the Long Island Group of the Civil Air Patrol Color Guard and its members upon the occasion of presenting the colors at the start of the session of the New York State Senate. And be it further resolved that copies of this resolution suitably engrossed be transmitted to Colonel Jack Ozer of New York Wing Civil Air Patrol and the aforementioned members of the Colonel Francis S. Gabreski Cadet Squadron from the Long Island Group of the Civil Air Patrol Color Guard.
Senator Seward.
Thank you, Mr. President. Having a Civil Air Patrol cadets present the colors at a beginning of our Senate session early in the session each year has emerged as a very meaningful tradition for us here in the New York State Senate. And today it's an honor and privilege to have the Colonel Francis S. Gabreski Cadet Squadron from the Long Island Group of the New York Wing of the Civil Air Patrol Color Guard. This team represented New York last year in the 2011 Regional Color Guard competition. You know, as many of us think of the Civil Air Patrol, which is a volunteer, nonprofit auxiliary of the United States Air Force, we mainly think of the Civil Air Patrol in terms of performing emergency services for the people of the state of New York, including forest fire protection, disaster relief service, guaranteed communications, and of course aircraft emergency assistance. But in addition to all of these very essential emergency services, the Civil Air Patrol also encourages activities to help develop young people into responsible citizens, which is primarily done through the very phenomenal cadet program. And now this Color Guard team, which we are honoring today, is comprised of some of the very best and the brightest, exceptional young adults in the Civil Air Patrol's cadet program. The cadet program, which is designed for youth between the ages of 12 and 18, aims to develop some very essential life skills. It also instills values, including teamwork, personal integrity, leadership, respect, and self-confidence, just to name a few. So we're very, very honored to have this team with us here today. I would like to introduce and acknowledge the presence of some of the top brass of the Civil Air Patrol here in New York State, starting with Colonel Jack Ozer, who's Wing Commander of the Civil Air Patrol, who's also representing Colonel Chris Hayden of the Northeast Regional Commander. Thank you, Colonel, for being here with us. Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Corello, who's Vice Commander of the New York Wing. And right from my district, Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Little, who's the Regional Government Relations for the Civil Air Patrol. Andy's been a long time involvement with the Civil Air Patrol and has gotten me involved as well in their activities. And as well as two of Lieutenant Colonel Little's colleagues, Lieutenant Colonels Larry Brinker and Gerald Marcatos. Thank you all for being here. Mr. President, I'm sure that some of our colleagues from Long Island would wish to make some comments on this outstanding team from Long Island, but I simply rise in support of this resolution on behalf of this outstanding organization.
Thank you, Senator Seward. Senator Flanagan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief. Senator Seward hit on all the high points, and I see our new leaders and our future leaders and our young leaders here today in this program. I am flushed with constituents today. 7 of the members who are visiting today are from the 2nd Senate District, the Wojtowicz family, Dennis, Debbie, and Alex, the Lindgren family, Lauren and Leaf, Paul Dowdy, and of course Jack Oser, who is the Wing Commander for the Guard. So it's a pleasure to have them all here. Hope you enjoy your visit, and you will continue to do us proud. Congratulations.
Thank you, Senator Flanagan. Senator Laval.
Thank you. I just want to add that the Colonel Francis S. Gabreski Squadron is in a great place because right next to the area is the famous 106 Air National Guard. This cadet program really helps develop essential life skills, instills values including teamwork, personal integrity, and leadership. And from my area, we have Teresa Nelson, Thor Horay, Megan Horay, Peter Sakanis, I'm sorry. So we thank you for being with us and providing the color guard so that we could say our Pledge of Allegiance today.
Senator Zeldin.
In support of this resolution, proud to say I'm a 3rd-generation member of the Civil Air Patrol, and I just rise to acknowledge Aisha Azamaz from Patchogue, who resides in my Senate district, and Amber Dorego from Bayshore, who resides in Senator Johnson's district. Thank you for coming and for what you do.
Is there any other senator? Senator Johnson.
Yes, I'm probably the only member of the legislature who was a member of the Civil Air Patrol in 1943. And I was 13 years old or 14 years old, and I went to meetings. It was a town about 20 miles away. We had to take the train to Patchogue, go meetings every week for a while, and I learned a lot, and all the good qualities that they say people get in there, I have them all, because they get... But anyhow, it was really good. It got me a little taste of the military, and a couple years later I became 17. I joined the Marines, so I did my part there. I should have gone to the Air Force, but I think I lost contact in the Marine in a few years between. But in any event, it's great to have a little taste of military discipline and integrity, and the things they teach you are things that are really important in everybody's life, and you are very fortunate to get this education and familiarization with the military and should I say, rules of procedure at this stage of your life. I'm sure it'll help you in the future. And congratulations to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Johnson. Senator Hassel-Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just rise to add my congratulations to our future leadership and acknowledge, I think I may have said this once, in the time that I've been here, that I began in Civil Air Patrol for 3 years. And so I'm very proud of the work that you do. And Senator Perkins was asking me, what did we do then? And I said, well, we had the responsibility for recognizing and knowing all planes that were flying, looking for all kinds of things. But of course, you were looking for different enemies then than we are today. And so, but whatever, you are a part of our future, and congratulations to you, and thank you for agreeing to become a part of our military eyes and ears at such a young age. Thank you, Mr. President.
Is there any other senator wishing to be heard? Question is on the resolution. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted. We thank you for your service and offer you warm greetings from the Senate.